Hey everybody, this is Brad Bruce and I'm here with
Jason Marsiglia,
and you're listening to the 5195 podcast, and this is episode 8. Coming off of the heels of the 80s, which I thought was good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was fun.
I think so too. I think something that went right along with the 80s would be toys.
Yeah,
I mean, I was
big era for toys.
What kid wasn't into toys? You know,
Yeah.
then and now.
Sure.
And it's like I loved toys. I don't know who doesn't love toys.
You know, at some point or another.
I was into toys because it was like I could create episodes beyond what I was watching.
Sure, you were able to. You had your cast.
Yeah, Yeah, and and it was fun. And some of the earliest toys that I was actually introduced to was He-Man.
Oh yeah.
That world was amazing.
Yes.
Everything about it. Like Skeletor was it for me. I liked He-Man, but I was more.
So was I.
Yeah, I was.
Everything about just from the skull and
yeah.
Even though you look back and he's pretty hammy. As a kid, it was just dope.
Mm-hmm.
It was so fucking.
Because I mean, let's be fair. The voice was hilarious.
It was.
It was not scary,
and it's even funnier now. Just as stupid. One of the things that always cracks me up is the Christmas special where he's like, "I don't want to be sweet. I want to be evil." It's so funny.
They were awesome, and they were releasing like crazy.
I feel like you've probably seen it, but those who haven't, the episode of Netflix Toys That Made Us.
Yes.
Those toys at He-Man was Mattel, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mattel, boy, the guys who created this stuff was flying by the seat of their fucking pants. The toy couldn't be sold without the show, and the show couldn't be made because there were no toys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean...
Talk about a catch-22.
Yeah,
right?
And I don't want to ruin it for you guys. Just watch that episode. It is phenomenal. In fact, when that show premiered, I jumped straight to that episode. I don't think it's the first episode of that show. But that story was so fascinating that I doubled back and watched the Toys That Made Us all the way up to that one. I think that's like the season finale of the first season or something.
Okay.
And I loved learning about toys that I didn't give a shit about. Like I didn't collect Barbie or Hello Kitty, but the stories behind them, what a phenomenal show, man. The whole toy market and just the way that they built collectibles and all that. It's super fascinating. Even if you're not a fan of a particular product, they've all got a story. And that was a great show. It really was.
It was.
Short-lived too. I don't think they went past like season 2 or 3 or something, right?
Yeah.
When in the grand scheme of things, especially today with toys being sold more for collectability than to play with, they could have that show going for years.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's an endless well. I think that one just ended too soon. I was enjoying learning about the toys of my childhood or the toys of other people's childhood. I was getting to the point where I'm even like, I want to know what the fuck all this Pokemon shit's about. Or, I was really looking forward to the Ninja Turtle one.
Yeah.
But some of the ones I'm going to talk about today, they never got to.
Okay.
So I figured you go first. We can harp on some He-Man because I've got some stuff about that. I did mention how it was kind of looked down upon by my grandma because of Satanic Panic. Skeletor and all that stuff was considered a gateway toy to Satanism because of probably some Barbara Walters special or Geraldo or some stupid shit.
Yeah.
But it got everyone scared that He-Man was like a gateway to Satanism, and it's so funny. Come on. Like you said, I was more of a Skeletor guy.
Yeah.
And there was nothing I coveted more than, is it Snake Mountain?
Yeah.
The Snake Mountain playset. Fucking loved it.
Over Castle Grayskull.
Yes.
For me too.
Me too. Yes.
Yeah.
It was so... It's not even goth. It's just horror. Mm-hmm. There's these yawning faces, like these big teeth.
Yeah.
There's like a werewolf head that you can...
With the microphone.
Well, but it was like a wolf head.
Yeah.
And it would be like, bro, and it was just... It almost sounded like when you talking to a fan.
Yeah, yeah.
But there was that, and then there was a pack on the inside, and you had to unscrew it to put batteries in. And for the life of me, I can't remember what it did.
That was for the microphone.
Maybe it was.
Yeah.
Because I didn't, at that age, I wasn't messing with batteries or anything like that. I just played with it, but I remember.
Did you have both of them?
I did,
Okay.
eventually.
Okay.
But I played more with Snake Mountain.
Yeah.
It had like.
Did you remember that they made an Eternia?
Oh, yeah.
That big giant one?
That was massive.
Yeah.
Never had it.
Yeah. No, I never had that either.
I had a neighbor who had it because his sister was into She-Ra.
Okay.
And I dug She-Ra just
Yeah.
because it was a Connect show.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Eternia playset, I just remember being blown away by it because it dwarfed everything.
Everything.
That was the equivalent of like the battleship for
G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe.
Yeah. And now that Eternia playset is like yielding thousands of dollars.
You're talking unboxed.
Oh yeah, unboxed. Yeah, you can get one open, not even complete.
It's probably still a pretty penny though, right?
$4,000 or $5,000.
Jesus Christ.
4,000 or 5,000 easily. Complete in a box, you're looking easily 8,000 or more.
Wow.
For this thing, because it's so. I've never seen one in person.
I remember I had a buddy who lived across the street from me. His little sister had.
That's crazy.
And what's funny is she was into She-Ra, so that's how I saw that. He wasn't into He-Man. He was more into the Thundercats. So he had all the Thundercats and Transformers stuff.
Yeah.
My house was more He-Man. I was more into that.
Yeah, I wasn't a Transformers
Me
guy.
neither. I learned to kind of appreciate it more as an adult. Mm-hmm. I think it's fun. But as a kid, when He-Man went off and Transformers started, I was like, all right, well, I'm going outside.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
I was actually more of a Mask.
Mask.
Yeah.
I don't think I know that one.
Really?
Yeah. Hang on, let me try and pull it up.
Yeah. Oh my God, that was the best.
Is it just Mask action figures?
It's like M period A period
Oh.
S.
Like MASH?
Yeah, the Mobile Armored Strike Command is what they were. And they were vehicles that would like transform into other armored attack vehicles. Like a motorcycle would become like a helicopter.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
This is kind of familiar.
Yeah, and that's like 85, I
These
believe.
are... Oh, this was Kenner.
Yeah, it was
Kenner. The logo does have kind of a Transformers look to it.
It does.
Kind of mixed with G.I. Joe. That the little helmet at the bottom.
Yeah,
has that
because
Cobra.
this was like my Transformers and G.I. Joe coming together.
Sure.
Because I like G.I. Joes. Transformers are okay. I mean, obviously I had Optimus Prime and Megatron just because
Sure.
they were cool.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
didn't have like an entire collection of Transformers.
No, I didn't
Like,
have any.
And this is going to sound hilarious because most people hate them, but I was like a big fan of GoBots.
Oh, the GoBots?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they're funny, but like they're...
Store brand Transformers?
Yes, yeah. Like, they were super cool.
Which
They
is
were super
funny.
cool.
I'll bring it up in a minute. I've got a similar comparison.
Oh, okay.
That
Okay.
I liked both.
Yeah.
I didn't prefer one or the other, and this could be an episode all of its own. This debate.
Yeah.
So I'll save it for a little bit. I'll save
Okay.
that for my last. But yeah, I'm looking at these mask things. These are familiar. I'm Jackhammer, Gator, Firecracker, Condor, Piranha. Yeah, I remember these. I didn't have any.
No?
I don't think I had any of these, but I knew people who did. I think there were a few at my grandma's house. Like maybe she picked up a bunch and they just wound up in the toy trunk in her patio.
Yeah.
No, that's pretty cool, man. Mask. I remember. God. Yeah, now I remember it. That's funny.
I was also into Micro Machines.
I liked Micro Machines.
Yeah, they were cool.
Those were pretty neat.
They took over for Hot Wheels for me.
Yeah.
I liked Micro Machines more because they like the play sets would be like a distributor cap. They look like
Yes.
a real distributor cap or a gas can or a toolbox.
Mm-hmm.
They would open up to reveal this big play set
Yeah.
for your Micro Machines. Like that was super fun. And of course the commercials, like the fast talking.
Oh, I forgot about that guy. The guy with the mustache.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
he's like an auctioneer. Yeah, he was cool. Yeah, I remember those. I liked those a lot. Kind of in the same vein, these like minuscule toys. I was a big fan of Mighty Max.
Oh, same.
Do you like those?
Yeah.
I thought those were so fucking cool. I guess those were Bluebird toys.
Okay.
They were a sibling toy line to Polly Pocket.
Makes sense.
Polly Pocket came first, and then for the boys, we had Mighty Max.
Mm-hmm.
You know, both alliterative names. You know, but just the horror aspect of Mighty Max. These little things that would fold open. They were like snakes, sharks, mummy heads, and then you'd open it up and it was like temples. You know what I mean? Like Indiana Jones kind of shit. I forget which one it was. One of them had like a Grim Reaper Slayer, Wraith
Okay.
kind of villain.
Okay.
Because all of them came with a Mighty Max, you know, so no matter what one you got, you'd have like a dozen of the same Mighty Max figure.
Yeah.
But the villains were always different and the scenarios were always different. And probably one of my favorite ones was the Mighty Max Conquers the Temple of Venom.
Okay.
I guess it says it was renamed to the Palace of Poison in North America. Mm-hmm. Okay. Didn't know that. But it was like a 3-tiered fold out. It was a coiled snake, and he was kind of beige, you know? But the head would come up, the coil would come up. So now you've got two sides. The mouth of the snake would open, and then from one side to the other, you had like a chain link rope that kind of connected the two sides, and on the inside was like a giant scorpion, and like there were like skeletons on the ground of things that had been eaten. If I remember right, I had a dragon one. It was like a dragon head, and on the inside was like a little, it almost looked like a little alchemy lab, you know, and it was just, each one had their own adventure. And I want to say the card back was a comic.
Okay.
I think when you flipped it over, it was like a little adventure involving these characters. Because to be honest, I don't know if it came with a booklet or not. Because usually what the back of the card backs are usually by these other ones. I want to say with Mighty Max, it was like just a little strip involving what you bought once you popped it out.
Right.
But Mighty Max, you know, I had like a whole drawer full of those because they were so small. Mm-hmm. You know, they were little compacts. And then, if I'm not mistaken, McDonald's was putting them in Happy Meals, and they were even smaller. It was like a little head.
Wow. Okay.
And it would pop open, you know.
Okay.
And it came with like one figure, but it was still like a little horror head, like a Dracula or
Yeah.
something. And they were harder to open because they were smaller, but the other ones were like a palm sized. And so yeah, you could throw a bunch of them away. Oh, according to this, they were called Doom Zones,
Okay.
which is a little horror movie nut. I'm like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
so cool. And then they made a cartoon in the
Okay.
90s, and I remember the cartoon being pretty solid. I want to say it came on before I went to school. So I'd see maybe the first 10 minutes and then have to go catch the bus. So I never saw an episode in its entirety, I don't think. I don't think it was a Saturday morning thing either. It was like a weekday.
All right.
So, yeah, I was a big Mighty Max fan.
That's cool.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Like, I did my best to collect the entire series of Masters of the Universe.
I don't know. Masters of the Universe was when I was so young that I kind of just got what I got. I'd want other ones because I'd see them in the Sears catalog or the back of the card back. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't able to, go running out for them maybe the way you did. Because by that point, you might have been about 10 or 11, right?
Yeah.
I was 2.
Yeah.
So from the formative age of 2 to maybe 6, it was just your birthday or Christmas. Mm-hmm. And I'd open something up and be like, oh, cool, this guy. Stinko, Moss Man.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you'd have, what was the Bumblebee guy? Was it Buzz Off? You never could keep the wings on. Yeah. Every Buzz Off, you'd go to a buddy's house, he'd have like one wing. Mm-hmm. The other one, I don't know where the other one is. I had, was it Beast Man?
Yeah.
He was kind of a werewolf type of thing. I had Merman.
Skeletor's right-hand man. Yeah, Merman was great.
I think I had Evelyn.
Great.
Man-at-Arms.
Great.
Orko.
The best, in my opinion.
That was
my favorite.
Wasn't he the one that had the track pull?
Yes.
You'd rip him out and he'd hover all over the floor. Yeah, that was cool. And one of the ones I know I got, because I fuck with them all the time, the 2-headed one where the arms would punch the opposite head.
Yeah.
That guy was funny. He was just fun to fuck with. Because I want to say were there buttons on the back that made the
hands go back and forth. Yeah.
He was one that I don't remember much about. I'm not even sure if he was on the show or anything. Because there were a lot that were made.
Well, you know what's crazy?
weren't-
The show, like, there were 130 episodes.
Yes.
That was a decent little run.
And I've got them all.
Yeah, I did too.
Mine's like, I don't want to say Mill Creek. It might be Universal. I didn't jump on the big
The
set.
Castle Grayskull?
Yes.
That's the one I got.
Of course you do.
Yeah,
But yeah, that was the one I really wanted. Because I think it even comes with a soundtrack.
It does.
Yeah.
Like, and out of the like 70 plus characters, I think literally I probably only had 20.
Probably the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought I had them all.
And to be honest, at some point, I think after that first wave of main characters, I don't know how many went from the shelf to the animated series.
Yeah.
I think they just made a bunch and you went home and played with them, but you didn't necessarily see them on the show.
And you know what's crazy? The way and the way I cared for my toys,
Yeah.
like compared to other kids in the neighborhood. Now this was like early 80s in Grand Prairie, Texas. I didn't have allowance. It would be like at the end of the week, if I was good, we'd go to the store and I would pick up a He-Man.
Of your
Kind
choice.
of like my reward for, not being a jackass.
We
Maybe that's why I didn't have them all, because I was only a jackass, the majority of the time, and a good 20
Right.
times.
So, you were good 20 times.
Yeah.
When I was in elementary school, in the suburbs by Detroit, they had something called, I want to say in elementary school, they had something called high fives.
Okay.
And it was a little Xeroxed pink slip where if you weren't a troublemaker, you got a high five.
Okay.
And if you collected 5 high fives, you could keep them all and there'd be little prizes. You could buy stuff with your high five. In a crude way of speaking, it was like Chuck E. Cheese tokens. You keep getting them. You could turn them one in for something stupid like a ring. But if you really kept a stack of them, you get cool shit. Well, I didn't really give a shit about whatever I got at school. I had made a deal with my folks. If I got 5 high fives in a week, we'd go to the store and we'd go to the McDonald's by Metro Airport and we'd sit there and eat lunch while watching the planes go over. And then I'd go get a toy of my choosing. And that was a cool thing.
Core memory.
It is a core memory, and it was something cool that it gave me something to work for.
Yeah.
It taught me that, you can be rewarded, but you got to work for it. And that was one of my favorite memories was, I think my mom she would take me to the airport, and that was back when McDonald's was fun, like with Hamburglar and Grimace and all that stuff. But yeah, my mom, I want to say worked at, do you remember Woolworths?
Of course.
Because that doesn't exist anymore.
Not at all.
I think she worked at Woolworths and was able to kind of get stuff just as it hit the shelf. So I never really had to, at least when I was good, whatever was new, she would just kind of make note of what I had already and go find something that didn't look familiar.
Never missed out.
Kinda.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like you said, out of 70-something odd toys, I probably had like 15 or 20,
Yeah.
But I did get a few of the sets. I remember there was one set for He-Man that had like a cave opening, a big rubber puppet dragon you could stick your arm through and bite people. And I think you could lock someone into a cavern, and that's where you could dump slime. I had those set pieces and, of course, Grayskull and Snake Mountain. But I think that was the extent.
That was it.
I think that was it. And I had variations on He-Man. I think you remember the one where like battle armor, where you could roll the chest.
It would flip up inside,
and it would look like sword scrape. Yeah, those were cool.
I think my favorite out of the whole set though was Skeletor and Panther.
Oh yeah,
That was it. That was it for me.
that was super cool.
Yeah, that was it for me. Like that was all I cared about.
And Panther, he wasn't just plastic, was
He
he?
was flocked.
Yes, because I remember the feeling.
Yeah, yeah, he was flocked. Because Battle Cat was just plastic.
He was just hard plastic.
Yeah, he was
right?
green with the stripes, and he was just plastic.
And by some point, the orange stripes were always chipping off.
Always chipping off.
And by the time you were done with him, he was just a green cat.
Yeah, and what's funny is I'm still that guy now, 47 years old. Have the majority of them still. Snake Mountain and
From then?
Castle Grayskull, yeah.
You're not talking about as an adult repurchasing
Not the retro toys they just have been releasing. No, the original, like the 80s runs.
But that's what I mean. These are the ones you had as a kid. Oh
yeah,
man,
I was that guy.
All of mine went to like Goodwill or something.
You know, a lot of my toys one year, because I mean, again, like it was Star Wars. You know, like the Millennium Falcon.
Oh, yeah.
And G.I. Joes and Mask and Thundercats. I remember one year I went on vacation. For some reason, I don't know why. Maybe just out of spite because I was a dickhead or whatever. But maybe he thought it would be funny. But my older brother threw it all away.
What?
Yeah. And it was funny because, like, obviously I'm still a collector.
Mm-hmm.
Now it was never about, like, I never collected because, like, oh my God, one day these are going to be worth so much money.
What kid did?
Yeah.
You know, the things if we knew then.
Of course. Yeah, that's exactly what.
I would have never taken them out of the package.
Yeah.
But then you wouldn't have been able to play.
Right. You know what's funny is as I got older, I really started to appreciate the packaging just as much as the toy. So
I would love the art.
And I would do my best to open the package without ripping the blister pack,
Which
like the
wasn't-
card, the board.
Wasn't easy.
No, and I remember taking a razor blade and like cutting around to where I could like open it like a door and then take the guy out and then like put it back. Just so I could still, almost like when I was done playing, he could go back in, I could put him on a shelf and look at it. And that led into, well, instead of doing this, why not just get two?
Yeah.
One to put up and then one to play with.
Yep.
You know, so that's kind of what I did. But like for some reason, the He-Man toys didn't make it into the trash. A few of my Transformers didn't make it into the trash, but the majority of the Star Wars and the G.I. Joes and the Thundercats, they all went to the landfill.
Yeah.
And I remember telling them I told him, I was like, well, you know, the way I see it, you owe me about 10 grand worth of toys. So,
yeah.
And you know, funny, there was a time where he was helping me buy a lot of these toys. It was as I was like, I was a grown man.
Yeah.
It was a joke, but I think he was genuinely, after the fact, felt bad.
Yeah.
About it, you know. But
the hunt is so fun.
No, the hunt is fun, and I still do that. Like I still hunt for these toys. Like here in Southern California, there's lots of stores that I go to look for retro toys. They're not there anymore, but years ago in Buena Park, there was stores right across from each other, and they were like consignment stores where they had glass shelves, and they were loaded with everything.
Really?
I mean, they were loaded with everything. And I remember just going there all the time and buying whatever I could. Like as I got older and got into the film industry and started doing okay for myself, I always kind of referred to myself as a little kid with his dad's wallet.
Sure.
No one was going to tell me no.
Yep.
So I kind of went overboard. If you could see my loft, you would understand what overboard means.
Ladies and gentlemen, this loft is legendary. I'm serious. Every time I'm in town, I go upstairs and I'm just like, what does it look like now? What has he got? And it's so fucking cool.
It's crazy because it's like I have friends that, you know, want to come over just to go stare at the loft. And it's funny. I'm always met with like, can I take a picture?
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, yeah, fine, go ahead. Like,
fucking
Yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah, go ahead. You know, I mean, there's full size figures, there's props, there's.
We should put pictures on social media.
Yeah, I think I will.
Put it on our page
yeah,
because it would be good for this episode specifically for people
just to see. Yeah, there's and it's all like kind of bookend with about 4,000 or 5,000 films.
Yes,
that are in there.
I mean, the loft. It's not a toy loft. It's not a movie loft. It's a pop culture loft. It's amazing.
It really. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I hear when someone comes over, I hear, "Oh, I had that. Mm-hmm. Oh, I had that."
Yep.
You know, and it's like it's really funny for like a lot of my friends who I never grew up. They grew up.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you see them like kind of relive a little bit of their childhood.
It's kind of cool though, isn't it?
It is cool.
You know,
it is cool. And it's funny because I've also set a few of my friends off on their own excursions of trying to find things.
Sure.
You know, to build. And of course they're like, I know I'll never have this, but it's cool to have something from my childhood back again.
Of course.
You know, because those toys, like, and it's not just 80s toys. I mean, they were, you know, great 90s toys. You know, I mean, I still buy toys today. I don't collect everything. And I do have friends that do collect everything.
Really?
I collect what I'm into. Like, I have a pretty extensive ET collection.
Yes.
I have, like, hundreds of the VHS.
Oh, yeah.
hundreds of different the same movie,
Same
but just
movie.
hundreds of copies of it.
It's like you're compelled to buy it if you see it.
I want to buy them all.
Yeah.
Because essentially what I want to do one day is to just fill an entire shelf, top to bottom, with nothing but E.T. VHS.
That's pretty awesome.
Why? I don't know. Why not? I mean, I still have, like when you would go to Universal back in the day, they would give you these little like 3-page pamphlets of what to expect when you're at the park.
Yeah.
I have the one when I went where you open it up and it's just, look what we have now, brand new opening, the E.T. ride.
Yeah.
I have tons of stuff. Like there's a life-size E.T. prop upstairs.
Yep.
There's
Those of you who follow Sneaker Cult, you've probably seen him in the store.
Yeah, he's in the store. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
been in the store, and people have taken pictures with him in the store. Like we had a full-size Michael Myers in the store.
Yep.
You know, which I have 2 upstairs. I have a 78, and I have like the 2017
Yeah.
Michael Myers.
You know, the new trilogy.
Yeah, I don't know.
The 78 one, by the way,
Yeah,
creeps me the fuck out.
everyone says that.
He looks a little too real.
Yeah, you know what's funny is I have, again, like I said, I don't collect everything. I'm not buying everything like everyone else bought. You know, all the Transformers.
Sure.
Like I never bought any of that kind of. I didn't buy that stuff. I bought just what I was really into.
Sure.
And it's like Universal Monsters.
Yeah.
Now a lot of that stuff is super fucking expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Like those little like 3 3/4 Remco toys, loose and beat up, floppy arms. They can bring $200-$300 a piece.
I know. It's insane.
Yeah, and it's like
Just the collectability on some of this stuff is nuts.
it's nuts, and it's funny because now you have companies like Super 7. They're releasing those little 3 3/4 Universal Monsters toys.
Just as a new run.
It's a new run,
Yeah.
and they're changing them up. The boxes they come in look great.
Yeah.
Like with NECA, the stuff that they do,
NECA's so cool.
they're killing it.
They are.
They're killing it, and it's like
the care that goes into the details is
Yeah.
astounding. It's so cool.
exactly like I love Batman toys, and I'm a Batman fan. I'm not a big superhero guy.
Yeah.
I'm not like I like Superman. I was like, I can't relate to a guy who gets shot and nothing happens to him.
He's indestructible except for this rock.
Yeah, and
know.
what I liked about Batman was just like he was just like a real dude with a bunch of money.
Yeah.
He had a motive, but he was just a real dude with a bunch of money.
What I liked about Batman was when I started getting into Batman, it was the fact that I for some reason as a little kid, it might have been Dick Tracy,
Okay.
the 1990s Dick Tracy with Warren Beatty.
Yeah.
That had its own toy line, but it also had like the watch you can talk into, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I got really enamored with the idea of detective.
Yeah.
And I started looking for like murder mysteries or noir because I just dug that look, the fedora, the
Yeah.
long coat.
Yeah.
So many, Sam Spade type stuff. And when I was getting into comics, Batman was like a dark hero, but he was a detective. And even if I was into something like, say, Ninja Turtles,
Yeah.
which had its own toy line as well, the Ninja Turtles were cool because they knew karate. Batman knew every martial art known to man. He's also a scientist, a chemist. There was nothing Batman didn't know, and he was scary looking. He was dark. He was brooding. He's in the rain. His rogues gallery are psychos. They're monsters. So I got big into Batman because it tapped into not only horror, but martial arts, fighting, action, and mystery, detective work. Some of my favorite Batman comics didn't necessarily have to have action in it. Just sometimes it was cool just to see him in the Batcave typing something on his computer and figuring something out, and you're like, oh, fucking cool. Collecting Batman particularly, I don't remember the line, but it was when the Tim Burton one came out in 89.
Okay.
That line of Batman toys.
Yeah.
And then a couple years later, the Batman Returns line, which had a lot of cool shit.
Yeah, it did.
Those were kind of the height of my Batman stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I did get a lot of Batman stuff. I had the Joker that I'm pretty sure if you
Squirting flour.
the squirting flower. Yep. I had the Batmobile. Had the Batwing, which was like as big as 2 dinner
That
plates.
fired the orange darts.
Yes. Yeah. I
don't know if you saw it or
love
not, but
that.
upstairs I have like a factory sealed 89 Batcave.
I did see that.
Yeah, and then
I
up
did.
on top is the Batmobile in the box.
Yes.
You know, like I have the figures, like
Yeah.
the square jaw Batman, the round jaw Batman,
Were
fit
those-
carded figure. They were 89. They're from the 89.
Those were variants?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's funny because they were going to do like this whole line. Mm-hmm. They were going to do them
Really?
all. Yeah. But they never did.
Huh.
They did Joker, Batman,
Bob.
Bob the Goon.
Yeah. That was it?
That was it.
For some reason, I just feel like there was so much more.
No.
I don't-
No.
No. So it was those 3 and then the play sets.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was,
Because
it.
I had the Bat Cave. I did have that. I had the car, the Batwing. All super cool.
Yeah.
Super
The
cool.
Batcave from Returns with the Wayne Manor.
That one I didn't have.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Like that was cool. And then like they had the Batman that like he was wearing like all in black with like he had the lines across his chest with like the morphed bat on his shirt, but then you could dress him up as Batman.
Oh, really?
And it was funny because it was cool, but it was also goofy as hell because they had to mold these parts over him. So his head is super big and like, you know, the gloves, like, you know, are super big, the boots, everything. It looked really funny, but it was just cool to be able to make Bruce Wayne Batman.
Sure.
You know, that was cool.
Sure.
You know, I like that. Yeah, like for me, Batman, I loved, 66 animated series.
Adored the animated series.
And then
it's
89,
probably still
yeah.
my favorite rendition of Batman. You know,
Me
it's
too.
just it's pitch perfect.
Yeah, and it's like I have every figure from animated series.
Really? So that's one that you hunted down to completion.
Every single one of them are carded. Some of them are unpunched where they were never even hung up.
Really?
Then I have them all loose in the case, like with like the animated series cases, like the storage figure cases.
Oh, I don't even know if I've seen that.
Yeah, I have them in there with all their weapons.
You're gonna have to show me later.
I'll show you. Yeah,
I get to see it later.
it's like I have all those. Like when Last Action Hero came out,
Oh yeah,
they released toys,
I didn't know that.
and I have them all. Like I have all.
You got all the last. How
Yeah.
many? What was there?
There was a decent amount.
Obviously, Jack Slater.
Yeah,
they
yeah,
probably made the kid.
Yeah, there was a decent amount. The villains. I have the car.
Oh, his convertible.
Yeah, and the roadster as well. Like I have the roadster sealed.
No shit.
Yeah, it's like and it's just such an obscure,
Very.
slept on toy line.
Which is funny because as a kid, that came out when I was like 11, I think.
Yeah.
I loved that movie, and if I'd known there were toys,
They were toys, yeah. You know what was funny about the movie when it came out on
VHS?
Yeah, it was full screen.
Yes.
And then when they released on DVD, it was full screen.
I know. I
But
hate
there
it.
was a widescreen floating around out there.
Really? Had
And
to
it was
be rare.
super rare. And luckily enough, here in California, like I have Amoeba. And like I was there so much that there were certain people that worked there that like I had like a pull list.
Oh, no shit.
So it was like if something came in, and I remember getting the call
Somebody call Brad.
from a guy, and he was just like, "Guess what? I have."
Yeah.
And he found the widescreen version of Last Action Hero.
No kidding. But
Yeah.
on VHS or DVD?
DVD.
So they did put a widescreen one out on DVD.
They did. They did.
Because to me, I bought, I think a year or two ago, they put out a Steelbook. And I bought that.
Yeah.
And I want to say it's the first time I've seen it widescreen since the theater. Because I had the tape.
Yeah.
And because I was such a DVD snob, still am,
Mm-hmm.
now with Blu-ray, the fact that it was full screen, I didn't buy it.
Okay,
Didn't buy it.
I can see that.
Because
Yeah.
I had the equivalent at home. I had the tape. And I'm just buying the tape again, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might look a little crisper because it's on digital disc, but it's still the full screen version of what I've been watching this whole fucking time. Mm-hmm. So I waited. And when they finally put out the Blu-ray Steelbook, the first thing I did was look and make sure what the aspect ratio was. And then I was like, okay, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
And I got it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like one of those deals where, I mean, granted, I may have caught bits and pieces of it on like Tubi or HBO or something. And that's, it's broadcast widescreen now just because TVs are widescreen. But to watch it with the bars,
Yeah.
never. I've never seen it with the bars
Yeah.
because after the theater, it was just full screen from then on. But I digress. this is a toy episode. I had no idea until coming here, up looking at the loft. I'm like, there were Last Action
Yeah, I'll
Hero
show you.
toys.
Yeah, I'll show
I
you.
saw one or two, but it was just like, I didn't even know they fucking made these. I would have bought them.
There was
Or
really
at
no
least
marketing.
asked
It
for
was
'em.
it was just catalog thing and then out.
Well, not just that though, but a lot of people forget that Last Action Hero, even though people didn't understand it, like it was ahead of its time.
For sure.
It's
it
a
was.
meta
It
film.
It definitely, yeah.
But it came out, and then like a week later was Jurassic Park. And Jurassic Park came with its toy line, dinosaurs, Alan Grant, action sets, vehicles. If Last Action Hero was popular enough to have a toy line that I noticed, it would have been completely shadowed by Jurassic Park mere weeks later. So, and of course, yeah, I would buy dinosaurs and shit. I love
Yeah.
Jurassic Park. But yeah, that blew my mind that there were Last Action Hero action
Yep,
figures.
yep, there were. And I think like the collection that I've curated is the more, I wouldn't even say rare, because that's just such an easy term to throw around.
But it is.
It is, but I think it's more like either eclectic or eccentric. A Last Action Hero toy
It does.
versus someone saying like, "Oh, I got like He-Man toys," because everyone
Sure.
had He-Man toys,
Yeah.
but like not everyone had Last Action Hero.
No,
toys.
it's blowing my mind right now
Yeah.
that there even was a
I love,
line.
I liked the G.I. Joe line. I
Yeah.
did.
Everyone had that bucket.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
G.I. Joe bucket.
Yeah.
You know, everyone had that.
For me, honestly, and they didn't make that many of the toys, but the Rambo toys.
No, you're right. I didn't have any Rambo. I knew they existed. But
Yeah, because they were almost like the He-Man bodies.
Yeah, they were like-
bigger than the 3 3/4 G.I. Joe.
Right. They were super buff.
Yeah.
You know.
But the shit that they came with it was cool as shit. Like
Really?
it was. And then they would sell like these little accessory weapon pack, a big fucking like machine gun or
Right.
that would go along with it, and they would have like Rambo and like his sleeveless tee, like, with the cross gun belts and the blue jeans.
I had one Rambo thing.
Okay.
One Rambo toy. And it was the one that was, it was like a little helicopter cockpit.
Okay.
And it had guns on the side. You turned it on. There was a little, I almost called it Doppler, like a
Okay.
sonar
Yeah.
thing, and 2 hand controls.
Mm-hmm.
And you would just press these buttons, and the whole thing would go, and like the top of this thing, because it was supposed to be a helicopter, it had a propeller that
Yeah, and it's
spun.
fun. It's
Yep,
fun.
that was it.
And it was funny because Rambo's head was literally a half an inch from this propeller.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
there was no glass on the cockpit.
No.
Which I thought was really funny.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny is the line that put that out, it was Coleco.
Really? Now, Coleco, I only associate that with the video games.
Yeah. But they're the ones that
Same,
released.
one and the same, huh?
Yeah.
I'll be damned.
Yeah, I had the helicopter for sure. The Skyfire Assault.
Is that what it was called?
That's what it was called.
Yeah, I had that. Loved it.
I didn't have that many Rambo vehicles. I had like the Skyfire and like the 6-wheeled vehicle.
I didn't have that. Yeah.
No, yeah, that was the only one. Like, something Defender.
Yeah.
I had like the Colonel Troutman
Really?
leg figure with his like little beret and all dressed in green. Like those were fun because I loved that cartoon. Do you remember Commando?
The movie?
Schwarzenegger?
Yes.
Do you remember the toy that came out of that?
Nope.
So this toy I was lucky enough to get. I had to basically beg and plead to get this toy. And it was fucking humongous.
Really?
Yeah. I can't tell you how big this thing was. I mean, as a little kid, I'm sure it seemed like it was like fucking 15 feet. And it sucked because it was like my dog chewed him up.
Oh.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where it's like, you know what? I don't even want to go back and see how much this thing is worth.
Oh yeah. No,
Like I don't want to do that. I definitely don't want to do that.
This one's gonna be a deep cut. I'll be surprised if you even know what this one is. Okay. This was. I'm trying to look it up right now to see a year.
Okay.
I'm not getting a year. Do you remember a toy line called Spytech?
Yes,
You do.
I do.
Okay, so Spytech, that was my jam. Okay.
Okay.
That was, again, going into the noir detective type shit.
Yeah.
This stuff, for a kid, was fucking cool. They had a bunch of items. You had a, like a little sound long range microphone so you could eavesdrop. You had a pair of sunglasses with mirrored sides so you can see behind you.
Yeah.
The camera that would fit into like a now and later box, so it looks like you're eating candy, but you're taking pictures. And then to top it all off, all of them came with like a leather pouch that you put it, like a leather bag, not a bag, but just sort of a leather clip shut case.
Yeah.
And then if you bought the Spytech belt, each case would snap onto the belt like a utility belt. And those were the coolest damn things ever seen. They even had Commander's signal beacon, the little beep 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 beep, and it gave you a book that taught you Morse code. It was so cool, and it just seemed so adult. There was nothing colorful about it. These things
were just a big gray box.
It was a gray box. They were black.
Yeah,
everything was black. There was nothing about it that screamed kids.
Yeah, that was the 90s for sure.
It was 90s. Yeah. I couldn't remember
an exact date.
No, and I guess
that's an early 90s toy.
They were put out by Tyco.
I associated Tyco with RC cars.
Yeah, this just seems so much more adult. You know what I mean? It just seemed like I had really cool spy shit.
Yeah, and it's funny because now that you've said that, now I'm just like, oh great, something else I got to start looking for.
I know, and it's something I didn't remember until just a few minutes ago.
That's hilarious.
Now, to wrap the show, I saved my debate. Okay. One of these I had plenty. The other one I couldn't find anywhere. Okay. And this has been a debate between fans since the 80s.
Okay.
Kenner's The Real Ghostbusters. Okay. So you had the original Kenner lineup of The Real Ghostbusters, Egon, Venkman. And mind you, these were all based on the animated series.
Yeah.
These weren't like the Bill Murray, So I collected the shit out of those.
Yeah,
same. I had every Ghostbusters. I had the Firehouse. I had the Ecto. I had Slimer and Stay Puffs. And I even collected the really stupid, goofy fucking ones that were called like Fright Features, where they changed the outfits, made them kind of colorful, but each one would, like, if you squeeze their arms together or flipped a switch, their mouth would drop open.
Yeah, their eyes would bug out.
It was just super cartoony, very Scooby-Doo. But I collected those. Those were kind of funny. And they all came with, like, a bucket of slime. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they had Haunted Humans. Do you remember those? Where, like, the guy would look like a mailman, and then all of a sudden his stomach would turn into, like, a mouth or something.
Yeah.
So I got those too. I remember there was a cop that would, like, it would drop down and he was a glow-in-the-dark skeleton. Stuff like that was awesome. But I collected a lot of it. And, of course, it all went to Goodwill or something.
Right.
My parents were one of those where if my interest started to wane, I would be in school and they would clean house.
Yeah.
They boxed up my shit. And it was just, it's funny now, but back then I was like, where's my toys? And they're like, why are you asking? You never play with them, you know? So it would have been amazing to still have all that stuff.
Yeah.
But here's the debate. Real Ghostbusters or Shaper Tycho's Filmation Ghostbusters? Do you remember that show?
I do.
Okay, that was always a playground dispute.
Okay.
Who was better? And which one did you think was better, or did you have a preference?
I did.
Okay.
I did. Real Ghostbusters.
And most people did. Real Ghostbusters...
It's not to disparage
the
other one.
But Real Ghostbusters was kind of made for the adults, too. Like, that show was very well written.
Yeah.
Whereas Filmation's Ghostbusters was more Scooby-Doo, which I loved Filmation. And to be honest, between the two, I think Filmation's score was better.
Wow.
Very synthy.
Okay.
Very creepy. I loved the score.
Yeah.
But I loved the idea of a couple of guys running around with a fucking gorilla who could talk, busting ghosts. And then Primeval, the main villain, he was like a steel skeleton. He was just Skeletor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it appealed to the He-Man side as well. But here's the funny thing. I used to see these Tyco toys in every catalog. I've never seen it in stores ever. And in the catalog, you had every character, you had every villain, and you had their fucking awesome ghost house with Ghost Buggy. Okay? I've never seen these things in my life. And I searched everywhere. And now you go on eBay, these things are worth a mint. And the only thing I could think of is they were so outsold, they just didn't last.
Yeah,
because Real Ghostbusters was just dominant.
Right. And when stuff like that happens, it's also they don't make that many.
I guess.
And it's like when they don't make that many, they're not going to put that much money into marketing them.
Sure. And that's what's sad, because I remember these were catalog mainstays.
Yeah.
And it drove me insane.
Yeah.
Of course, it never occurred to me to ask my parents to order it. I just would get the idea and go, we got to go find them, you know. But Filmation's Ghostbusters was just so slept on.
The only thing I own out of that series, and it's not a toy, it's a comic book.
Oh, yeah.
And I have issue number 1. It's a rad issue because it's got all the monsters on the front of it. And,
Yeah.
And it has the Twin Towers.
Yes. Because their house was right between them.
Exactly.
Right in between.
Yeah. And it's cool. And like mine is slabbed.
Okay.
And it's like a 9.8
Really?
like slab. Yeah. Like
Okay.
I love that. I love that because I'm a comic book fan too. Mm-hmm. And you're right. Cause like I never got those toys for the same reason as like,
But that's the thing. I would assume most people didn't get them because they didn't like it.
Yeah.
That was always an argument for me on the schoolyard.
yeah.
That Ghostbusters is stupid. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I like them both.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Ghostbusters are cool.
I didn't think it was stupid. I
It's just, I liked it for different reasons.
yeah. But of course I lean towards real Ghostbusters.
The real Ghostbusters has the continuity with the movies, which is super cool. Better animated, you know.
Yeah.
Better written. But I really enjoyed Filmation's Ghostbusters. And
Yeah.
I lament that I could never find any of them, much less the house. And I wanted that house. To me, that was as cool as the firehouse.
Uh-huh.
Because this thing folded out all kinds of different ways. It had lights on it and
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
And it was just, I wanted, above all else, I wanted to work backwards. Give me the house and I'll find the guys to inhabit it. But
Yeah.
I couldn't find any of it. And when you go on eBay, not only is it super expensive, but it's usually unboxed and missing shit. All of them. All of them. And it's just, ugh.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's one that if I had the money, I'd go out and scoop them all up. I didn't get the comic book, though. Do you remember what I got were those books, sticker books, where you would buy packs of stickers. They were numbered, and you had to flip open the book, find the number, and that's where that sticker went. That's what I had for those.
Okay.
Filmation's Ghostbusters did have that, and I had a couple of them. I still, to this day, in my office, I've got the orange lunchbox with thermos.
Oh, okay.
For Filmation's
Yeah.
Ghostbusters. I kept that one. I don't know what happened to my real Ghostbusters one because that was a blue one. And it was kind of that painting where Venkman's on the top of the ecto and Slimer's like in the foreground getting zapped. I had that lunchbox.
Like I love lunchboxes.
Yeah.
I don't have many.
Well, what's funny, the lunchboxes, I bought one at a convention, a horror convention years ago. And I just put horror convention trinkets and shit in there. That's what they hold.
And shit?
And shit.
Like human shit.
Human shit.
That's cool.
It's got to be straight from the butt.
It's got to make the trinkets stink.
Kind of keeps them all together.
Okay, cool.
But like, yeah, I would have, you know, you go to a convention or a store and you just get buttons and keychains and shit like that. That's what it has. I'm pretty sure I've got a bunch of ticket stubs, but that's what I buy them for now. It looks cool as a decorative thing, but it serves a purpose to keep all the weird shit that I accumulate. You know what I mean? But yeah, I still have the Filmation Ghostbusters orange lunchbox.
That's cool.
With the thermos.
That's cool.
And it's fun.
The only one I have, you're going to be completely shocked that I have this, is the ET lunchbox.
No way. Where did you find one? I'm sure that was super rare.
What's funny is mine had it since day one, like when I bought it off the shelf.
It's the one that you've had
When I was a kid.
Yeah.
And it has the thermos still.
So many of us just lost all that
And
shit.
you know what? And I've seen them at different stores and online, and man, they're in bad shape.
Really?
You know. So before we end this, real quick, just we'll run down this because I only have two, but toys that they never made.
Okay.
The first one is a quick one, just because like I thought it would be cool to have all these toys, and they never did it. But like a complete line of Mike Tyson's Punch-Out toys.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
All the characters with a little ring, you know, and all the toys, you know, like Mac, you know, and Doc, and a little bike, you know, Glass Joe, Von Kaiser, like all of them.
That would have been
in a
cool.
set. I think that would have been cool.
That would have been super cool.
Yeah, the second one, and they were made, but only as a prop in the film. The Spaceballs toys.
Oh, wow.
That Dark Helmet was playing with.
Yes. Your helmet is so big.
I wanted those so bad.
Wow, really?
All of them. Lone Star and Dot and Princess Vespa and Barf. You know, I wanted them so bad.
I've got two as well.
Okay.
One of them, and this is just funny. This is random for me, but it falls in line with your Punch Out. Being a Lego kid, loving Legos, I always thought the first level of Donkey Kong would have been a cool thing to build and play with.
That would be cool.
You have a Donkey Kong toy, Jumpman, a.k.a. Mario, his girl,
Yeah.
and then just a bunch of barrels that you could knock down this thing that you built. That would have been cool.
That would have been cool.
Obviously, it would be boring after like 5 minutes, but I would put it somewhere and admire it. And then the other one, and I feel like they've made them today, but they didn't back then. And if they did, I didn't know about them. But like you mentioned, the Star Wars toys, where they were just, you know, the real skinny ones. I wanted Indiana Jones. And I don't remember if they had an Indiana Jones toy, but I would have liked an Indiana Jones with, you know, maybe Belloc, you know, Short Round, Molaram. Like, it would have been cool. And it seems like it just seems funny to me that wasn't capitalized on.
They did.
Did they really?
They did.
When?
82.
So it would have only been Raiders.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they did a lot of box toys.
Well, here's the thing. Indiana Jones, and this is going to shock a lot of people, probably the audience, probably you. I enjoyed Indiana Jones. I was more of that than a Star Wars kid.
Okay.
I just, jungle adventure and treasure hunting appealed
Yeah.
to me more than space western kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it being under the Lucas umbrella, how wasn't there tons of Indiana Jones shit? Vehicles, play sets, temples.
Honestly,
I don't understand how that wasn't a thing or
think
a bigger thing.
I think because the Star Wars world was so vast.
It is vast. But at the same time, we're talking early 80s.
Yeah.
There's only 3 movies. Other than that, you know, you had to be an adult and probably reading some of the paperbacks.
Yeah.
There were comics, but you still had, there was only one less Indiana Jones movie.
But also the amount of characters in each movie, though.
I know, but that's why, I mean, even if you had an Indiana Jones and he was your Indiana Jones, the play sets you could have made.
Playsets for sure.
The Well of
But as far as
Souls.
figures, no.
No, but making the Well of Souls or the Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
Or, you know, the temple at the beginning of the original with Rolling Boulder.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
something cool like that. We never got it. And as a kid, being a bigger Indiana Jones fan than Star Wars, I was salivating for someone to put these things out, and they just never happened. And nowadays, now that retro toys are cool again, and people are making, I don't want to say fake retro toys, but
Bootlegs are big. That should be another episode someday.
bootlegs.
Are bootleg toys.
Okay.
Bootleg toys, I have a few bootleg toys, worth more than the licensed toys.
Wow.
So, again, like, we could talk toys forever.
Yeah, you might
So-
have to run point on that one. I didn't
Yeah.
even know there was a...
Oh, yeah, there's a book
Really?
about bootleg toys. Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah, I have a bunch of bootleg ET stuff.
No kidding.
That's worth more than a lot of the licensed stuff.
That's funny.
Yeah.
How does that... I'd have to... We're gonna have to do another episode about that. Because
Well, I want to hurry up because I want to go play with toys now. So.
Me too.
All right. Well, until next time.
See you guys.